good evening to all of you. Let's first have a discussion in general about the keywords for your mains answer writing. So keywords for mains. Now this was asked, if I'm not wrong, by one of the members who asked it, I think Harshita Vyas, right? So you asked, sir, what are the different kind of keywords that are there? So I want to understand the nuances between those. One of the simplest keywords which is very rarely found in questions is define. Okay, just to define, this is very easy to understand. You need to give a pinpointed definition of the concept. All right, say defining something, defining the powers of council of ministers, discuss or explain the relationship that they have with the president, something like this. All right, so define is very easy. Define means you have to be very pinpointed in your approach in answer writing. Specifically define their powers. What are the powers of council of ministers? They are executive, they have a lot of discretion. What powers do they have? What privileges do they have? You can define them. Define is very easy to understand, but there are some other terms which are quite confusing, especially when I talk about terms like these: describe or elaborate, a little easier. But then you get confused with the terms like these. There is sometimes a term called as explain. There is a term which asks you to elucidate. All right, which asks you to elucidate. Apart from that, many a times you have other kind of keywords like, okay, examine something. All right, or you might get a question where they ask you to analyze some particular topic, right? Or else you get a term where you simply discuss some stuff, correct? Discuss some stuff. Or sometimes you do have this also, comment, or even this term as well, correct? You have evaluate term. So sometimes what happens with aspirants is, sir, I'm getting confused with all these. And many a times what happens is a critical term is also added to it: critically examine, critically comment, critically evaluate, right? Or critically discuss these stuffs. So what exactly is the meaning of this? Let's try to understand one by one. Again, I'll not go in too much detail because many a times these terms are self-explanatory. When I have some terms called as describe or elaborate, these are self-explanatory. Describe or elaborate. Now in this, you need to simply provide additional information. Provide additional information about that particular topic. Now they ask you to say, a question comes up: describe the impacts of climate change on one particular aspect. Describe the impacts of climate change on, say, Indian agriculture. So you when you see certain keywords where describe or elaborate has come, the topic is already given to you. You simply have to give additional information over it. What information do you have? So for instance, describe the impact of climate change or the effects of climate change on agriculture. What is happening? Give additional information in a decent way. Present it as if you are giving a presentation somewhere, right? Present it. Now you do understand that sometimes in class this happens, that presentation might look haphazard, because in class I normally go impromptu. But in case if I am giving you a presentation, then what will I have? I have a definite PPT, I have a definite structure, and I'll go according to the structure. I say, okay, you asked me to describe or elaborate the effects of climate change on agriculture. I will say, first of all, I will use the concept of definition almost everywhere, because defining can become a very important feature of your introduction. This can be used in introduction very effectively. I say, what is climate change? Okay, climate change is the change in the long-term climatic patterns everywhere around the world. India is no exception. But why is that happening? It is happening because of global warming. Why is global warming happening, or what is global warming? Global warming is simply the increase in average temperature of the world. Why it is happening? Because of the increase in number of greenhouse gases. So in a few lines, I give the concept of climate change and how it is impacting Indian agriculture. First of all, because of, say, to put additional information, I'll think of increase in temperature. It is leading to more and more diseases. Increase in temperature, it is leading to dryness. It is leading to droughts. At some places, it is also leading to floods. Why? Because of increase in temperature, the long-term rainfall patterns in India are changing. Some places which were quite dry, they are receiving extraordinary rain, floods, flash floods. Some places are becoming extremely dry. Apart from that, climate change is also impacting, say, the incidences of El Nino. More and more El Nino impacts are coming, because of which we see deficient rainfall. In fact, this year it is a classic example of impact of climate change on the agriculture, because we had a very lengthy monsoon break, because of which there was heavy agricultural impact, and almost every farmer in every corner of our country, they are cribbing that monsoon was not timely. In fact, many states have already given an application to the central government, please declare us a dry state or a rain deficient state. Why? Because you will get extra funding from center. So this is how I elaborate, or this is how I describe. I go in a pointed way and I explain, okay, these are the impacts. And if you want to conclude, again, you do know when you're writing answer, it is always preferable that you follow the model of, oh, okay, you follow the model of introduction, giving a body, and conclusion. All right. So always try to follow this particular model. So describe and elaborate is rather easier. And again, if you have, or if you're providing additional information where you have got certain examples, key factors, etc., that will really help. And many a times these questions like describe or elaborate, they come with additional keywords. Say like demonstrate, or another term called as illustrate. Now illustrate means specifically whatever point you are describing, whatever idea that you are giving, please try to include examples in it. Please try to give examples in it. All right. Now apart from this, explain and elucidate. Now explain, elucidate, this basically means give me some clarification. Clarification. Now what is the meaning of clarification? Say for instance, sir, can you explain how do I approach preparation of polity? How do I approach preparation of polity? Now what do we learn? We simply try to explain you what is it that you are supposed to do, how is it that you are supposed to achieve your goal, and again at a broader level, yes, why. In fact, I would say why would come at the first point itself. What, how, and why is to be described whenever you talk about explain or elucidate. All right. So explain what exactly is the concept, how those things are happening, and why those things are happening. So it completes your answer, because it is simply asking you a detailed explanation of anything. Say for instance, from polity perspective, explain the working of Indian Parliament in the last decade. All right. Now this is asking you to explain how it has worked. Technically, legislature, you can simply devise it in this particular way, right? The job of legislature is what? The job of legislature is this, and I have to explain the working. Now take one aspect in terms of lawmaking, how they are working, in terms of discussion, how they are working, in terms of say control over executive, how they are working. If you have some data, again, please remember, whenever you are explaining, always try to give details. Try to give details. Now, details means some facts, some examples to back your idea. Whatever you're explaining, back it up with certain examples, certain facts, certain say inputs. All right, because the evaluator, he needs to understand your explanation, and if you're giving an example and explaining, very good, isn't it? So just a clarification. Explain, elucidate is a clarification of what, how, and why. Now, next comes up these terms. Now, these are a little tricky, Let me take this one by one. Now, discuss this: examine, analyze. These are, I would say, a little closer to each other. There is one term called as evaluate, and there is another term, comment. Now, when you talk about these terms, again, discuss is relatively easier. Discuss, meaning you are going to have a debate with yourself. You're going to have a debate with yourself. All right. Now, discuss the role of governor in Indian political system. So debate with yourself. You give a discussion that governor's role is this. Again, when you debate, please understand the meaning of discuss is to debate it from both the sides. Discuss means have a debate with yourself. That is why many students, they come and ask me, sir, basically whenever I ask anybody, any senior or any person, sir, how do I approach answer writing? All these terms, they always tell me to discuss both the sides of perspective. Right? They say talk about merits, talk about demerits, etc., etc. Yes, absolutely, because when you debate a topic, say when you debate the office of the governor in Indian political system, first of all, you give different perspectives regarding, say, why the governor's office came, how it works, what are the benefits of it, are there any problems of it. So you give a detailed discussion. That is why debate with yourself means give both the sides. You are only talking for pro, you are only talking for cons. That is the meaning. Debate on the topic, or debate, instead of debate with yourself, I'll just write debate on the topic. Okay, you must have had debates in your school, no? You must have had debates in your school, right? Debates means you try to discuss various say features of it. When I say discuss, you can categorize. Say if I ask about discuss the issues in Indian society. Discuss the issues in Indian society. So when you talk about a discussion like this, you focus on the word issues and talk about, okay, what are our issues? I have one of the issues of regionalism, one of the issue of say regionalism, linguism or linguistic chauvinism is one of the ideas. There is a problem of a regional imbalance. There is a problem of caste based discrimination, religion based discrimination. So I can talk about so many issues, right? In general, again, you can categorize them according to your own understanding. There is no standard rule. So you can say, if I want to discuss issues of Indian society, I can talk about, say, political issues, I can talk about, say, economic issues, I can talk about cultural issues. It depends on you, how you present. All right. But only thing you need to understand is you need to debate, and once you debate, you go to different directions and pick out those points. Correct? Right. Now, comment is very simple. Comment is again, I would say your opinion. Your opinion. Your opinion. Now, in this comment part, even if you're lacking facts, it's okay. If you lack facts or say some sort of information, it's okay. All right. If you lack facts, although I would say always do have certain key things whenever you're commenting as well. to put value or to add value to your answers. If you have facts, information, it actually adds value to the answer for sure. But even if you are missing out on something, it's fine. Say for instance, now I ask you a question about, say one particular question. Rajya Sabha, Rajya Sabha is the secondary house in Indian parliamentary system. Comment on this. Rajya Sabha is a secondary house in Indian parliamentary system. Now, for this, you need to have deep understanding. You get it. You cannot simply comment yes or no. You get right. Now, when you say, sir, yes, sir, it is secondary house. Now, if you say yes, then you have to give your pointers. If you say no, you have to give your pointers. Correct. So, in comment as well, it depends. If you want to be diplomatic, you can bat from both the sides, or if you're taking a side, that is also very fine. Generally, in UPSC answers, we suggest not to take sides, be a little diplomatic. But if there are some issues on which you can take a stand, give your opinion, no issues. No issues. In fact, sometimes it is a very positive thing from an aspirant where they start an answer in the introduction itself. When it is given as a comment, no, you give your opinion straightforward. Say we cannot call Rajya Sabha as a secondary house in Indian parliamentary setup, although in comparison to Lok Sabha, it might seem as if it has less number of powers or less amount of power, especially when it comes to finances. But in all other aspects, Rajya Sabha is equal to Lok Sabha. In fact, in many other cases, Rajya Sabha has special or extraordinary powers which are more than Lok Sabha. So I wouldn't agree, or I would say that do not be very strong. No, yes, no. Explain it in a diplomatic ways. Give your opinion and comment on it. Again, this clause that I'm mentioning. Many students, they come to me and say, "Sir, why have you told this? Why have I told this?" Because many people focus on that particular aspect. That I want facts, I want information. If it is lacking, I said it's okay. It's okay, but I would say back up your comment with certain evidences. It is always beneficial. All right, it is always beneficial. Clear? So let me just erase this notion, because many a times I have seen students coming up to me and saying, sir, you told this, I did not add in the answer and I got less marks. Please do not blame me for that. Okay, your opinion, again, your opinion. And again, when you say your opinion, try to explain or justify your opinion. For justification, you need certain information, yes, but if you miss out on core things, that is also, it's fine, not an issue, not an issue. Okay, now apart from this term analyze, now there are many times analyze comes up. When the term analyze comes, it means the basic thing that you have to do is deconstruct it. Deconstruct the topic. Analyze one particular issue at the core and deconstruct it. Even go to the surroundings, to the peripheries, and analyze that. All right. Now, say for instance, I give a term. I give a setup that the Indian economy is stuck. The Indian economy is stuck in the loop of developing country or something like that. But Indian economy is stuck at the developing status. Analyze this particular statement, and whenever it is analyzed, you will see that a statement is given, and you have to analyze that particular statement or analyze some particular issue at length. And a question which come up with analyze, they are normally 250 words. They're normally 250 words, and there you have to deconstruct the topic. You need in-depth knowledge to deconstruct that topic. So first introduce the topic that you know, and then give different perspectives. Say for instance, when I talk about economy, say why India is stuck in developing status model. You can say India is right now in the lower developing country status. In the middle income countries, there are two categories. India is in the lower side because of the population, because of many other things. Apart from that, we were, for a very long time, we were stuck in the command model. The government had too much of control over the. You can give so many pointers and discuss different ideas, different perspectives, and when you analyze it, you can even add certain expert opinions, examples, facts, the ideas of reports. Again, when you analyze a political issue, say say in India, the office of the governor was envisaged to be a link between center and states. However, the governor's office has become a bone of contention between center and states. Analyze this statement. So when you analyze this, you do get the idea that office of governor has to be discussed. Why there are issues? So analyze the issues. When you analyze it, give certain expert opinion to say that what was envisaged. The Constituent Assembly had thought that the office of governor would become, say, a link between the two. That is why they did not go for election model. They went for appointment model, because if they had created election for governor, then there would be two power centers. One would be chief minister, one would be governor. Correct? Then for the negative pointers, or for basically, you have to discuss the second part as well, which says that there is a bone of contention, or it has become a bone of contention between center and state. You do know so many aspects, say with respect to article 356, with respect to appointment of governor, removal of governor, discretion of governor. Many a times governor, instead of acting as a constitutional officer, they have acted as agent of the central government. There are so many incidences of that. You can give certain examples, case studies to explain that. Okay, right. Again, analyze and examine are quite similar. Now examine is again about explaining or discussing different perspectives. Examine is all about perspectives. You need to examine it from both the sides. When it is asking you for examination, then it is assumed that the evaluator already knows the topic. So do not harp too much on talking about the question itself. Try to examine it from both the sides, say positive sides, negative sides, say give merits, demerits, discuss it from different angles, different dimensions. All right. Apart from that, evaluate. Now evaluate is something which is, I would say, again very similar to comment, but here you need to evaluate that topic. You need to evaluate. That means now you are like a teacher. You must have seen what a teacher does. A teacher, he looks at the booklet or the test paper that the student has given, and they will check, okay, what the student has done. And then at the end of that test paper, what does the teacher do? The teacher gives marks. Correct? That means in terms of evaluation, give your verdict. Give your verdict after valuation of topic. All right, this is a very important part. Okay, give your verdict after valuation of topic. Now again, this is very similar to examination. Evaluate and examination are quite similar, but the only difference is you have to give your verdict at the end. At the end, suggest or conclude it by giving your verdict. What do you think about that particular topic? All right. So there are a lot of aspects of comment as well here. It's not your opinion. It is not asking your opinion. It is asking your verdict, and that verdict should be based on this valuation. This valuation should be based on objective information. When I say objective information, again, means, say, give certain evidences, facts, examples, illustrations to prove your point, or to prove your valuation, that your valuation is correct, and then give your verdict. That's the basic idea. All right. Now with all these terms, many a times you can find another term called as critically discuss. Critically discuss. Now whenever this term comes, then you need to understand the topic first. Take up that topic, and what is the question? Please understand what is the question. The question is asking you about one particular topic, and that statement is, say, either positive or negative. That statement is either positive or negative, and you have to, whatever the statement is, if the statement is positive, then the majority focus of your answer should be on opposite of that. It doesn't mean you have to only focus on criticism. All right, means whenever a topic comes up for critically discuss, critically comment, critical examination, critical analysis, critical evaluation, that means first understand the topic that you have received or the question that has come. Let me just give you an example of say a critical discussion, right? Say right, I'll ask a question. The Indo-US relations have largely remained a relation as a defense or a defense buyer-seller relationship. All right. Now the question is, or the statement is, the Indo-US relationship has remained largely a defense buyer-seller relationship. That is my statement, and I am telling you to critically discuss this particular statement, or whatever term I use, because now you have understood the core terms. When I say critically, that means the first issue what is there, that means in your answer you begin with Indo-US relationship, give a small overview of Indo-US relationship in first few lines, then enter into domain of the Indo-US defense relations. Because why the statement is talking about defense, to some extent it is true, because we have been reliant on US and US India defense relationship for almost, I would say, last 10 to 30 years. From 1991, I would say, it has mainly remained a buyer seller relationship only, because US has seldom transferred us the technology, or has gone for some sort of co-production, but other countries have gone. That is why he is asking, right? That is why the question has come. But in the second part, when you critically analyze that, the question is not just about defense. All right, but if you get some defense pointers where I can disprove that, it is very good. That means in recent times, Indo-US defense relationship has taken a step forward. We have gone for strategic partnership. We are a part and parcel of CORD with the United States of America. We have joined Artemis Accord. So not just a defense relationship, in defense as well, slowly and steadily we are moving towards co-production, say technology transfer, joint development, etc. And not just defense. Indo-US relationship cannot be seen only from the defense lens. It has to be seen from the other ideas as well. So that is the meaning of critical discussion. Discuss the statement first, then the second part should be focusing on the criticality or criticism. Clear? So I'll take your leave and I'll see you in the next class. Take care.